Aether Fuels is a company innovating a new technology for how to make sustainable fuels from abundant sources of waste carbon. One of the challenges today is that we have a way to make sustainable fuels from waste fats, like used cooking oil, but there's just not an unlimited supply of those streams. And so we're starting to exhaust that as our way to make fuel for the aviation industry. And our technology is a breakthrough in how to convert abundant waste streams like CO2, biogas, agricultural waste, industrial waste gases into SAF and do it economically and at scale. There's really two big challenges, limited availability and the cost of the fuel. And in the industry, we can't expect airlines just to absorb this cost. And at the same time, we can't expect consumers to pay an unlimited amount more to decarbonize. So we have to find a way to make these fuels abundant and the cost reasonable enough that it's a economical way to decarbonize. And so that's really what our technology is all about. And we've found tremendous support from the airline industry, helping companies like ours support fundraising, getting projects developed, because they know that technology innovation like this is really how we're going to solve the problem. And actually, we're happy to say that one of our strategic investors is JetBlue, and we announced an MOU on offtake this week. So those are key relationships that companies like ours need to build. Regulation is essential. It's so important for policy to set the direction in how we can overcome the scale-up hurdle and how we can make these technologies that start too expensive and at too small scale get over that hump without asking just our customer to pay all of that difference. And so policies in Europe and policies in the US have been really instrumental in making the product affordable enough to seed demand and help the industry grow. Companies like ours, we're only 2 years old, just getting going. It's really important to have our visibility with the sort of biggest industry players. And so the IATA World Sustainability Symposium is one of the major events. The Beehive was a great way for us as a new entrant to get exposed to a lot of the sort of leading decision makers in the industry. I think a critical thing is to be looking forward not just to what we need to keep buying sustainable fuel and driving emissions down over the next few years, but to also be looking at what's the solution in 5, 10, 15 years. That's really what motivated us to look at 5 years out when we run out of our current feedstocks, what's next. And so we hope the airlines that are able to put that focus on growing the market today, but also building the partnerships with companies like ours so that they have a supply down the road to get all the way to net zero. I am sort of fundamentally an optimistic person. I think that's what you get when you go and do startups. I think, though, that it is really critical to marry that optimism with sort of the scientific rigor to really be honest about what are the real challenges in front of you and what's it going to take to solve them. And I think that's been helpful for what we've been able to distinguish ourselves in our field, that we've brought together a lot of very grounded, experienced people combined with our sort of crazy dreamer thinkers to come up with solutions that are breakthroughs but are still implementable in the real world.